Alright, so today's date is February. Yay, we're getting closer to spring slowly. 2/1/22. So our objective really today is to move, or we're going to translate the y equals absolute value of x function. Okay. Translate's a fancy word for just move, right? Just like yesterday we talked about what it says linear, another fancy word for just a straight line. So math does a lot of things that makes it hard for kids. Math uses math language, which we have to get used to. And math also uses symbols. My belief is that math uses symbols because math teachers can't spell. I don't know, but that's always been my opinion. I'm very grateful for it because it was terrible stuff. But I like symbols are better. So if I take a look at number one, if I know whatever goes in comes out positive, so if x is 0 and I plug in 0, the absolute value of 0 is 0, right? So that means, sure enough, I'd have a point at 0, 0. If I plug and let the x value be 1, the absolute value of 1 is 1, so I'd have another point at 1, 1 on my graph. If I plug a x value of 3 into my graph, I'd get a value of, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the 2. Plug in 2 and I'd get 2, right? Plug my 3 and I'd get 3, and so I have these 4 points, right? Yeah, on the other side, if I plug in the negatives, but when I plug in the negatives, they become positive, right? So I plug in negative 1, it becomes a positive 1, right? And I plug in my negative 2 for my x, I get a positive 2, because whatever goes in comes out positive. When I plug in a negative 3 for x, whatever goes in comes out positive. So yeah, the other side would be a negative 1, positive 1, negative 2, positive 2, negative 3, positive 3. Now I'm going to connect the dots because there are points in between, right? I mean, I didn't plug in 1/2. I mean, how many points do I need to plug in before I know what's going on? I'm done. I've got enough, right? 1.8, I don't know, maybe even pi, but I'm just going to connect the dots. And there's my graph. Okay, so that's the absolute value graph. We're going to call this our parent function. Okay, so I'm just going to graph that in with arrows, right, because it goes on forever. So we call this our parent function. Because it is the basic graph. I mean, we haven't done anything fancy to it. We haven't moved it. It's called parent function. Now, let's do some translating of this function. So, if I go to example 2, I'm just going to move it. I don't need to do a t-table. That would be kind of a pain. I know I'm going to take my parent function and I'm just going to translate it down 4. So I'm going to take this function. I'm going to translate the graph down 4, right? So just take the whole thing, bring it down 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Graph it in. How am I doing so far? Now, let's go back up and talk about domain and range, okay? Now, we talked a little bit about domain and range, but domain's actually pretty easy. Domain's always going to be the same, okay? So tell me, how wide is this graph? Yeah, forever wide, right? So the domain's easy. I mean, it's all real numbers because every possible x value you can think of is on the graph, right? So our domain is going to be all real numbers, okay? I will use this symbol because I can't spell, okay? It's true. I'm not a very good speller. It's just the way it is. I'm a math brain. I'm not an English brain. Anybody else agree with that? Anybody else have that pain? Yes. So I like symbols. So when you see this cursive capital R, it's the symbol for all real numbers, okay? Now range, we talked about range as the y values. We know the range of this one starts at a height of 0 and goes up, so we're going to say that the range is y, because it's the y values, is greater than or equal to 0, okay? Let's look at example 2. Okay, in example 2, the domain, well, the domain's pretty easy, isn't it? What's the domain? Tell me. What's the domain of graph 2?
All real numbers.
All real numbers. So I'm going to use my cursive R if you don't mind. Am I going too fast? Ready to take a moment to let you catch up? I probably do, don't I? Sometimes I get going too fast. Forgive me. Will you tell me to slow down, please? But just ask me nicely. So the domain is all real numbers because it's forever wide, or every possible x value you can think of is on that graph. And then the range is a little bit different for the second graph. What do you think the range of the second graph is? Yeah, go ahead. Grace? Greater than or equal to, what's the lowest point? Yeah. So we're going to say y is greater than or equal to -4 because it starts at a height of -4 and goes up. Let me see thumbs. Thumbs up, sideways. Okay, good, good. If sideways is okay for me, I don't mind that. Okay, return the page. Am I doing okay? All right, now, domain. We know that domain is all x values. And we know range is all y values. Okay, I'm going to put that on my notes. I'm going to highlight that because that's important stuff, okay? So let's graph number 3. So I gave us a little hint, twice as tall, or it's a stretch. Gretchen, what did you say again? You called it thinner? Slimmer. I like that word. I'm not going to use that word, but I like that word, okay? So I'm going to take my parent function. That's that one. I'm going to pull it down 4 and make it twice as tall. Or I'm going to think about a slope of 2, okay? So let's see. I'm going to pull it down 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Because it's going to go down 4. And then I'm going to think about a slope of 2/1, or twice as tall. It's a stretch. Up 2/1, up 2/1, up 2/1, up 2/1. And of course, the same thing on the other side, except for it's going to be a slope of -2/1, but it's still the same stretch. Up 2/1, up 2/1. And I'm going to graph in my absolute value function. Let's see what we have. Okay. Yes, Teva.
The lines never go below the vertex, right?
Only if we make it a negative. And I'm going to, that's going to be in your homework. What if that was a negative? It'd be upside down, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can I show that real quick? Nice question. I'll just throw it on the board, okay? So what if I had, I'm going to answer the question. Y equals the negative absolute value of x, okay? So whatever goes in comes out, whatever goes in comes out positive, right? Oops, then it becomes negative. I'll say it again. Whatever goes in comes out positive, but then oops, we make it negative. This graph would be that. Got it? Okay, good question, thank you. Okay. So now, let's take a look at this. Domain. So look at our graph. Here's our function. What's the domain? How wide is this graph? How many x values does this graph have? Come on, you know the answer to this. What's the domain?
All real numbers.
Thank you, Teva. X equals all real numbers because this graph continues going on forever. Will, you said it really well. Keeps going both directions forever, right? The range. Now here's something I want you to remember. Okay? It's easy. It's easy. I do a lot of silly things on purpose. Okay? You ready? Reach for your range. Okay? Ready? Everybody do it with me. Okay? Ready, set, reach for your range. So, okay? There's some real research into this thing. Every time you got to move, there's cognitive connect here. So I'm going to reach my range. We're going to go from here up. What is my range? What's my range? Ava, what's my range?
Your range greater than or equal to 4, or -4.
That's okay, thanks. You got it. Thank you, Tava. Perfect. I mean, yeah. Okay, now how about number 4? We're going to take this parent function, right? We're going to take this main function, and we're going to move it. So here's kind of like what I like to do. So we're going to look at the vertex first. The vertex is going to be a point. The vertex is a point at -3, -4. So before we do anything, we're going to find the vertex. Okay, ready? I'm going to do stupid things on purpose. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing, right?
Do the shuffle.
I'm doing the shuffle, right? But you think I'm going to the left or going to the right. It's always the opposite inside. What am I doing? Right? I'm going to, you think I'm going to the right, but I'm going to the left. So anything, see, you'll remember it, because you'll laugh at Mr. You go home and you go, my math teacher's the dumbest dork in the world. But you'll remember, right? So anything inside, see my head? Anything inside parentheses always goes the opposite direction horizontally, right? So let's take a, yeah, exactly. So we're going to go to -3, -3, -4. Okay, so we find our vertex, right? So let's find our vertex. -3, -4. What's our slope? What's our slope? 2/1. So from my vertex, I'm going to go up 2/1, up 2/1, up 2/1, up 2/1, and of course, it's an absolute value. So on the other side, those values have to go up. And there you have it. Thumbs up. So the vertex is always the opposite of the inside. Okay, great. Domain. How wide is it? What's my domain? Don't let Tava give you all the answers. Will, you can do it because I know you're smart. Will, what's the domain? X equals what?
I don't know.
Well, how wide is it? How wide is this graph?
On the paper or?
Yeah.
It just goes forever, wouldn't it?
Does goes forever, totally right. So we're going to go all real numbers. All real numbers. Okay. Range. Reach for your range. So it's very lowest point. What's the very lowest point? Seems like the very lowest point is at -4, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Then it goes up. Arlo, what's the range?
Y is greater than or equal to 1.
Awesome. Okay. How are we doing? Let me see thumbs. I want to see how we're doing. Okay, and it's okay to give me a sideways thumbs. Those work too, okay? All right. Now, what do you think? Example 5. Before we start example 5, try and do this. Can you do number 5 on your own? Give it a try. Find the vertex first. Okay, try number 5 on your own. Where's the vertex? Well, good. We'll put it on the paper. I agree with that. We're going to put it on the paper. So the vertex is a point. We need the coordinate of this point, right? Yes. Yes. Positive 5. Yes.
The middle schoolers.
Okay, Ava here. Okay, so the homework. Do you just want to grab enough? This is our homework tonight. You want to grab it? 6, 7, I don't know. Grab a couple. If you guys, the middle school, if you guys, you need to go. Homework's right here. Okay. So, thank you. Okay, you hang on to your notes. Oh yeah, always hang on to your notes. Put your notes in your notebook. Okay. So our vertex is at +2, 5 because it's always the opposite of the inside. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right there. Okay, there's my vertex. I'll have a slope of 1/2. So we're going to go up 1 over 2. And of course, because it's absolute value, I'll have to have it go up 1 over 2 on the negative side. Okay. Domain. Grace, go ahead. What's the domain?
All real numbers.
Good job, Grace. X equals all real numbers. You guys see why I like symbols? Symbols are so much better. All real numbers, or how about just cursive R, same thing. How about the range? What's its lowest value is at 5, isn't it? Its lowest value is at 5, and then it goes up. So I'm going to go y is greater than or equal to 5. Okay. So what we're going to do is, for homework today, you might need graph paper. Oh, there will always be homework. Don't be so silly. Always homework. I've got a worksheet for you. You might need graph paper, or you can, if you have graph paper, you can do it on your own graph paper. I'll pass out graph paper if you need paper, but I want to show you something, okay, in a second, as soon as it stops.